Episode 5, Uranium Awakens. In the dark corners of the universe, far from the blazing stars and the forged realms of the transition metals, a force stirred. Born not from the harmony of creation, but from the chaos of destruction, this force was ancient and dangerous, its power raw, unstable, and barely contained. This was uranium, the element of destruction, the element of change. Unlike the elements of the Forge of War, whose power came from their unity and strength, uranium was different. His energy came from within, a volatile force that could tear apart the very bonds that held matter together. For uranium carried within him the power of radioactivity, a force so powerful that, when unleashed, it could unravel the universe itself. Uranium had slept for eons, hidden in the cold recesses of the cosmos, his energy lying dormant, his power waiting for the right moment to emerge. But now, something had changed. The universe was no longer the same place it had been after the first star. The battles between the elements had begun to tip the balance, and uranium, with his unstable energy, could feel the shift in the fabric of creation. The time for his awakening had come, but uranium was not alone in his power, for deep within him lay a dangerous potential, fission, a process by which his atomic core could split apart, releasing a vast amount of energy in a destructive wave that could ripple across the cosmos. This was uranium's gift and his curse. His very nature was unstable, his power too great to contain for long. And as his energy began to stir, so too did the fear among the other elements. For they knew that if uranium's power were to be unleashed, it could bring an end to everything they had built. Uranium had always known his power, but he had not always known his purpose, for while the other elements had been born to build, to bond, and to create, uranium's destiny was tied to destruction. His energy was too great for peace, too unstable for unity. And so for eons, he had remained in the shadows, hidden away from the rest of the universe, his power kept in check by the very forces that had created him. But now, as the universe expanded and the battles of the elements grew more fierce, uranium felt a new stirring within him, a calling, a pull towards something greater, for he could sense that the balance of the universe was shifting and that he, uranium, would be the key to that change. In the depths of space, far from the realms of the transition metals and the volatile clashes of the alkali metals and halogens, uranium began to awaken. His energy crackled through the void, sending ripples of radiation across the cosmos. Slowly he rose from his slumber, his power growing with each passing moment until finally the universe could no longer ignore him. The other elements, sensing his awakening, began to fear what was to come. For uranium's power was unlike any they had ever known. His radioactivity, once released, could tear apart the bonds that held them together. He could destabilize the very matter that made up their realms, sending them into chaos. But uranium was not content to destroy for destruction's sake. He sought something more, a purpose, a reason for his existence beyond the chaos he carried within him. And so, as his energy continued to grow, he began to reach out, searching for allies who could help him harness his power, who could understand the potential that lay within him. And in the distant reaches of space, he found a kindred spirit. Thorium, another radioactive element, whose power, though less volatile, was no less dangerous. Thorium had long watched the other elements from afar, his energy simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. Together, uranium and thorium formed a dangerous alliance. Two elements of immense power, united by their shared nature and bound by the energy of radioactivity. The universe had never seen such a force before. The transition metals, with all their strength and resilience, had prepared for battles of creation and destruction, but nothing could prepare them for the power of radioactivity. For uranium and thorium's power was different. It was not just the energy of matter, but the energy of decay. As they moved through the universe, their presence began to unravel the very bonds that held elements together. Fission, the splitting of atomic nuclei, was a force unlike any other. It released energy in a wave of destruction that could tear apart the very fabric of creation. And as uranium's power grew, so too did the threat he posed to the balance of the universe. But uranium was not yet ready to unleash his full potential. He knew that to do so would mean not just the destruction of his enemies, but the unraveling of the universe itself. He needed a catalyst, a reason to use his power, a force that would drive him to bring about the change he sought. And so uranium waited, biding his time as the universe continued to expand. He watched the other elements, the metals, the gases, the reactive forces of the cosmos, each one playing their part in the grand design of creation. But uranium knew that his time would come, and when it did, the universe would never be the same again. And so the universe watched with bated breath as uranium and thorium gathered their strength. The other elements, sensing the rising power of radioactivity, began to prepare for the inevitable conflict. For they knew that once uranium's power was unleashed, there would be no turning back. In the forge of war, iron and the transition metals honed their weapons, preparing for the battle they knew would come. Hydrogen, the first element, watched from afar, his mind filled with uncertainty about the future. The universe was teetering on the edge of chaos, and only time would tell if it could survive the storm that was coming. Uranium's awakening marks the beginning of a new era, an era of power, destruction, and change. The balance of the universe is shifting, and the elements will soon be forced to face the power of radioactivity, a force that could either unite them or tear them apart. But even as uranium prepares to unleash his power, a new force is stirring in the depths of the cosmos, one that could change the fate of the elements forever. For in the heart of the universe, the seeds of a nuclear reaction are being planted, and the power of the atom is about to be revealed. Join us next time as we explore the rise of nuclear energy, the birth of fission, and the battle for control over the most dangerous force in the universe.